line between the tree going across to a pole that's held in the ground by two stakes. That one could be a little bit more to the left, but we'll see if this works to hold the tarp. All right, let's get the tarp out. The idea is I'm gonna have a little bit of overhang here, and the back of the tarp is gonna go back here. So, get the tarp out, get the ridge line, put this end up. Okay, well this is not too bad. So what I've done here is I've gone up one section, so that's 2.5 feet. I should have brought my measure, about 2.5 feet, as opposed to the one I did the other day where it was really 5 feet. And I'm using a ridge line, and I've got under, oh, I didn't want to do that. They say it's not a good idea to put the tarp over a ridge line because the rain will run down the ridge line under the tarp and drip on you if you're sleeping right here. And I'm not sure there's enough room to put that mesh tent up. There'd be enough room, I believe, for my other tent. It's not quite as high, but this would work. But I've got a lot of kind of wasted space in the back there. So I might experiment with using the ridge line to do what I did the other day. All right, so this is a possibility. I could also raise the back up a little bit if I had, well, I do have two other poles. So I might try that first. All right, let's try that. Kind of better than the last one, except that they're swoops. So I need something to pull it up in the middle. Out of poles now. I've used 3 in the back and 1 here, and then the tree. But this could work. That is, it could work with some adjustments. Because obviously if it rains, you don't want all the rain going down in there. So, time for a water break. So this is not bad to sit under. So as sun protection, this works fine. But with rain, I'd have to get rid of this right here because water would just collect right in there. So I've been out here a little over an hour plus, an hour, almost 2 hours. So maybe time to do one more configuration. If I had another pole, I could put that, let's see, I can put that up here. And that would support that. So if I found a stick and put a sock on it or something, actually I've got an old pair of socks that I keep in my bag so that I can do that. That would get the dip away anyway, or maybe put it here, I don't know. So, But I'm glad I'm doing this here where I can break it down and go home, as opposed to depending on the shelter when I'm in a campsite. So, and this it's taking this light wind pretty well, but if we had a big storm like last Friday, this thing would fly away, I think. While I have the ridge line there, I may try kind of what I did the other day, which would put the ridge line right here in the middle of the tarp, leaving about a 5-foot front, and then bring the back down. But it's really cool, all the configurations you can do with these 3 meter by 3 meter tarps. I've seen some folks using 4 meter by 4 meter, so those are huge. Well, let's try something different. Okay, I think this is the best configuration. So having these trekking poles certainly is a help. If I'm going car camping, I can always take those with me, but if I'm on my bike and I really can't or don't want to, I have to rely on finding sticks, I guess. But I'll have this pole and the other pole. So what makes this better than the other day, because it's exactly it's almost the same, is that I've got the ridge line coming off the tree to a pole. And so if I had 2 trees, that would free up 2 poles, and I could use those in the edges and find a stick for the middle like I did at James River State Park. And I've moved it so the ridge line is above the tarp. The tarp is hanging from it. So I think this is the answer. And the tent, I guess I could put the tent that way. And again, problem with the mesh tent is if I use this configuration, it's nice to be able to see everything, but it's open to the elements coming into the mesh tent. Whereas with my regular tent, which would definitely fit under here, although they're almost the same size, it's just the mesh tent is higher, taller. But with my regular tent, at least it doesn't have as much mesh on it, and so some rain might get in, but it wouldn't be as much as the mesh. So I'm kind of liking this. This might be my go-to. There's more configurations to try. So I'll just keep trying. And another thing is I could put, oh no, I can't, because I've got the ridge line going this way. If I had the ridge line going this way, then I'd have a pull out right there in the middle of the back, and I could tie that to a tree or to a pole too, and that would just open this up a little bit more. But it's really probably not necessary because I've got a lot of room under here. If you figure when it's laid out, it's almost 10 feet, so that's 100 square feet. That's cramped in a little bit, but it's still probably like at least, 64 square feet, maybe 8 by 8, just by the angles of the tarp. I've lowered the length by probably 2 feet or so. But I like having this extra 5-foot overhang here for sitting under the tarp. And I can hang a light from a pole. I even got a little portable fan. I could hang that fan if it's one of those 95-degree days or whatever, or I'm just hot from having ridden all day. So I think this is going to be it. All right, so I've tried another configuration. I've got the one corner on this pole. I'm in the second loop on each side. It's on the ridge line. And I'm pegging it in the back to see if the tent would fit underneath this. So let's get around here. I got this one in. And again, that's the second one in, I think. No, third one. So it's the middle one. It's where the ridge line on the tarp is going this way. I'll have to tighten this up a little bit, but we'll see. Once I get this side in. And the corner, of course, will just go under. So, middle, I guess that's this one. Yeah, that would be this one. In. I need to bring it straight back from where it is on the ridge line. I wasn't doing that. And taunt from side to side. And of course, this corner of the diamond will go under. And we'll take this. Put this underneath. Then we'll go around the other side and see what we can do. All right, let's see. I could put this out like this. That's what we'll do. All right. There we go. And then come over here. See what we can do here. We'll move this out. So I'm doing it more of an angle than I was thinking of doing, but let's see how we can do this the tightest way. That's pretty decent. This is a little bit on a slope. I guess if I brought it down this way a little bit more, it wouldn't be so much of a slope. This pole could probably go a little higher. I could use so I've only got 4 pieces in, so if I do one more, it'll be 6 foot 2 inches. And then this is the corner that I pull through, so I'll pull that all the way through. So what I think I'm going to do now is try to pull that back up. I think my Mountain Hardwear tent would fit in here with a little bit of space for me to sit, but I'm not sure the other one might. But I brought my measure so I can kind of measure this stuff. But let's go around and pull the back out with another pole. So I need to get another pole ready. For this, I might use all 5. There's 4, there's 5. Okay, so let's see what we can do. I might need, I need a guideline. So I need to take one of those with me. Alrighty, so I've decided just to use 4, and I just measured it, and it's 4 feet 10 inches, which is what I have in front. I'm thinking that this is not going to be long enough. Maybe it will. We'll see. Oh, see, that's not going to be enough. Maybe if I make it even shorter, I'll take one more section out. It just needs to pull that out so that there's more room inside. So I'll use 3 sections. That might be a little bit better. But it could be that this is just not going to, this might work. That's better. I'm going to need every inch of that, I think. All right, so we got our stake. All right, that's doing what it's supposed to do, and this height is fine. All right, so let's measure this. Is three sections instead of 4. Four sections was 410. 5 sections is 6'2", and this is about 44 inches, so 3 feet 8. 3 feet 8. A little more than 3.5 feet. And that's pulling that out. Well, I wonder if we could do anything with this. If I pulled that corner back, it might be better. Put a stake in here in the other corner. And then it goes to the pole. I'd have to put the pole back further. That's a possibility to make a little more room. Yeah, that opened it up. And I probably could do something with the sides, but I'm liking this configuration. I didn't bring my tent out. I just brought the bug net tent. And I forget how tall it is. I think it's 51 inches or so. So the bug net tent is 6 feet 8 inches. So if I put it here, so 80 inches. That's how long it is. I think it's 5 feet 1 wide. Lengthwise it fits fine, but there's not much covered room for sitting then. And that's what I like about the other configuration we just did. 5 feet 2, was it? So that comes out underneath this triangle. These sides could go up more. I mean, it would work, but I wouldn't really have any room except out here, I guess. I could sit out in the front like this. So my chair would be right at the edge of the bathtub bottom, but I would be, I'm not covered, so it'd be better. I'd have to be in a little bit more, down that way a little bit more. So this has possibilities. I think I'll try this again and put my Mountain Hardwear tent in here and see how it fits. Because the bug net tent is 51 inches tall, something like that. So that is that tall at its peak. So it would fit there, but then it had to be way out here. It wouldn't fit back here unless it was touching the tarp, and that's not a good thing because of rain and stuff. Otherwise, this is a pretty decent configuration. All right, so I'm right by the pole, but I'm underneath the triangle, and I'm out far enough that I think the bug tent would not be, I'd just be right up against the bug tent. But if I was just using this and sleeping under here in the open, no bug net, no tent, this would be plenty big. It's a nice roomy setup. And these wings actually, I was thinking they'd go straight, but putting them out like that gives me more covered space. So that's kind of cool. Thank you very much for checking in on this configuration. I'm going to add a couple together in one video without all the setup process, but just little bits and pieces of it so you can see where I'm putting the stakes. But I like this one.